we are tackling fundamental switching concepts for your CCNA exam, specifically focusing on how a switch learns MAC addresses and the process of flooding. A Layer 2 switch makes its decisions based on MAC addresses, and its brain is the MAC address table, also called the Content Addressable Memory, or CAM table. When a switch is first powered on, this table is empty. Let's walk through an exam-style scenario. PCA sends an Ethernet frame to PCB. The frame enters the switch on port Fast Ethernet 01. The very first thing the switch does is examine the source MAC address of the incoming frame. It sees PCA's MAC address and creates an entry in its CAM table, mapping PCA's MAC to port FA01. This is the MAC learning process. It learns from the source to build its table. After learning, the switch looks at the destination MAC address to decide where to send the frame. In this case, it's PCB's MAC. The switch checks its new CAM table, but there's no entry for PCB. This is called an unknown unicast frame. The switch's only option is to flood the frame, which means it sends a copy out of every port except the port it came in on. So it sends the frame out all ports besides FA01. When PCB receives the frame and sends a reply back to PCA, the process repeats. The reply frame enters the switch on, let's say, port FA02. The switch examines the source MAC, which is now PCB, and adds a new entry to its CAM table. PCB's MAC is on port FA02. Now the table has entries for both PCs. The next time PCA sends a frame to PCB, the switch will find PCB's MAC in the table and will forward the frame directly and only out of port FA02. This is an intelligent forwarding decision, which is far more efficient than flooding. It is critical to distinguish unknown unicast flooding from broadcast flooding. A broadcast frame, with a destination MAC of all Fs, is always flooded out all ports except the source port by design. An unknown unicast is flooded only because the switch hasn't learned the destination's location yet. The CCNA exam loves to test this distinction and the operational order. A common trap is confusing the roles of source and destination addresses. Remember, the switch learns from the source and forwards based on the destination. Another key exam point is the MAC address aging timer. By default, an entry in the CAM table will be removed if the switch doesn't hear from that MAC address for 300 seconds or 5 minutes. If an entry for PCB ages out, the very next frame sent to PCB will be treated as an unknown unicast and flooded all over again. To keep this straight, use this mental shortcut: source learns address, destination finds forwarding. This phrase helps you remember that the source MAC builds the table while the destination MAC is used to look up an exit port in that table. Expect questions that provide a simple diagram and ask you to predict the switch's action, whether it forwards or floods, based on the state of its MAC address table. For free practice questions, AI-powered explanations, and more exam prep tools, visit openexamprep.com. That's openexamprep, all one word, .com.